Yes, sir. Y'all know what time it is. Back again with another episode of the We Here Now podcast, episode 19. I'm your host, Mar the Cameraman, Mar Sosa, Coffee Sosa, whatever you like to call me, as long as you like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get right into it. You know, we like to start these podcasts off with a little weekend recap, and I do realize Thanksgiving is this week. But y'all didn't think I was gonna be y'all without a podcast just because it was Thanksgiving. Come on, it's me now. I'm consistent. I'm always gonna bring y'all the content when y'all want the content. But like I said, we do have Thanksgiving this week. So before we get into that, I'm gonna start with a little weekend recap. From my last episode that I dropped last week, some of you guys, well, if you're here watching us now, you heard about it. But my little situation going to work and I was getting arrested for the tinted windows, yada yada yada. Well, I had to go back this week, the same route that I always go, same spot that I got pulled over at, and luckily, nothing. I was good money, so that was definitely a plus. It's definitely a little it's definitely a little irritating just having to even have to like worry about that. You know, it's like even before I go to work, it's like I gotta worry about like if I'm gonna get pulled over for something that I only got pulled over for once and having this car for 7 years. But we're not gonna stay on all the negative. We're gonna speak about all the positive. Like I said, we got Thanksgiving coming up. Recording this on a Tuesday. Usually I do it on Monday, drop it on Tuesday. But I'm recording on Tuesday and we're gonna drop on a Wednesday. Give you guys an episode right before Thanksgiving. And all I've really been doing today is just more prepping for Thanksgiving. I asked my aunties that came in from Georgia, so I picked them up from the airport, and yeah, my family is a bunch of characters. I'll say it like that. Like it's always a good time when I get around them. It's not so much like, oh, I have to be around like my cousins and stuff like that to have a good time. Like, I can be around like my aunties and uncles and just be cracking up. You know what I mean? Everybody has a good sense of humor, and I haven't seen. These are my aunties that live in Georgia, so I haven't seen them since I came back, since I moved back from Florida, and I stopped and I seen them on the way. But it's always nice to see the family, and that's what this time of the year is actually for. You know, which we're gonna dive a little bit deeper how my Thanksgivings usually go. But like I said, I had to pick up my aunties from the airport, drop them off, and then I went to the barbershop. You know, I got family coming. I gotta be crazy. I was like, why you go to the barbershop? You bald, yeah, but that's not the point. See, that's some of y'all problem. You think just because you bald, you ain't gotta have the rest of your facial hair on point like that matter. It's all about it's all about how you present yourself. If you bald and you don't care about the rest of the facial hair, why would God just put hair on the top of your head? Because you know I'm taking care of the little bit of facial hair you got. So that's why I was in the barbershop getting my getting my own. But I don't go too often. I go like maybe like once a month. My facial hair really don't grow back that fast. But every time I go, it's always an experience. The barbershop is just a vibe, you know what I mean? You're around different people. I mean, I don't want to say different people, different thinkers, you know. It's mainly just black people in the barbershop, you know. That's just barbershop I go to, you know, I go to the spot to get, you know, my little touch up and whatnot. But the fun thing about the barbershop is always some stuff that you can get under people's skin. You know what I mean? We was talking about the Browns game and stuff like that, and I'm gonna recap all that stuff later in the podcast. But you know, in the barbershop, it's just meant for good conversation. You know what I mean? Stuff that you might post on your Facebook and have like actual a conversation with people online. That's all the barbershop is. Anything you might have seen, anything you got a thought about, you can bring up to the barbershop. So, you know, normal conversation. And I just like to. I don't really like to. I guess I do like to stir the pot just a little bit. I just like to see how people really feel. You know what I mean? Like some people will post stuff online, but like when you see them in person, like they don't feel that way they were supposed to, you know. But like when you catch somebody like face to face and you ask them a question, like you can get like a real answer out of them. So of course, there's a bunch of older guys in the barbershop, and I'm talking about the Keith D and the Tupac situation. And like I preference like this, like okay, the older generation is always talking about how you know the young generation we can't stay off social media, we can't help to incriminate ourselves and censor on ourselves and all this other stuff. They're like, yeah, well, yeah, the young generation, wow. But then I brought it up. I was like, so, Keefy D, self snitching or not? Everybody in the bar, like, whew. It was a tough subject for everybody, but with the love that see the older generation has that love for Pac, I had the love for Pac just from what I've heard, but I don't have the same feeling that somebody that was like maybe a little bit older than me might have been like 16 when Tupac came out. Like Tupac died the same year that I was born. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to get that feeling. But I just like to tap into like that sore spot that I know that people have for Pac. But like I was actually pretty impressed because everybody at the Pac or not the podcast, everybody at the barbershop kind of was on uh that same reason that made me bring it up is about people like not just the young generation self snitching, but it's everybody that using the internet is self snitching, and that's pretty much what the conversation got dialed back to. Is like, yeah, KVD definitely snitched on himself. Um, but usually I'm just having that conversation with like kids my age, you know what I mean, or just like a little bit older. But like you're talking about guys like 40s and the 50s, having this conversation. But it was definitely just a rouse some what did you call you ruffle up some feathers at the barbershop, because that's what you do. You go to the barbershop like you're not going like people go to the barbershop just for the conversation, not necessarily about getting a haircut. Like I said, I went there to get my face and I had a great conversation there, you know what I mean? But this is also the same guy who used to cut my hair like when I had hair, you know what I mean? Like back when I was like in middle school, you know what I mean? So I still keep that same relationship with him. He's right down the street, you know what I mean? If you're a man, you probably get how important like your barber is to you. Most people they'll just go to anybody, but like I don't. Even when I only went to the same person. I never got my. Once I found him, it's like I only went to him to get my haircut. You know what I mean? Because there ain't nothing like going to somebody to get a haircut. You think you about to come out looking fresh, and your haircut all messed up. But a good barber's hard to come by. That's why I still mess them in the comments that we have in there. Let's get on to it. Thanksgiving. This is my like. Okay, I might like Thanksgiving a little bit more than I like Christmas. I'm not a super materialistic person, So like, as far as like Christmas, like with me now, even as I get older, like it's about the energy around. You know what I mean? Like I like the atmosphere of the decoration. The family that you only see around this time of year. They get to coming back around and stuff like that. So for me, it's definitely the happiest times for me, or I want to say the happiest time for me, even though that is true. I just say that's why Thanksgiving is definitely one of my favorite holidays. I got my family that I only pretty much see like on Thanksgiving, or I might see them like randomly throughout the year, like a family reunion. But Thanksgiving is like the mecca where you see like all the family that you haven't been seeing throughout the year. And like I was telling you guys, I had to pick up some of my aunties from the airport. It's still a lot of people coming in, but most importantly, with me, why I like Thanksgiving so much is like, when I was younger, like we used to always go to my grandma's house for Thanksgiving. Like every year we went to my grandma's house for Thanksgiving. You get there mad early. We got all my cousins, my siblings, and stuff like that. We're all at my grandma's house, and this is where like you learn from like your cousins and stuff like that. Cause like Thanksgiving is like a card game, or it's a card playing seminar. You know what I mean? You have so much time to run. This is back in the day, like when I was young. Like now, like everybody got iPhones and stuff like that. Like back then, like maybe some of my older cousins maybe had cell phones. I'm trying to think. Even at that time, they probably didn't even have cell phones, honestly. But like that's like the chance where like all your family really come together. You get to hang out, no electronics, none of that. You really just get to be a family. And me being the youngest, usually I was getting picked on, and usually would end up with my sister pinning me down to the ground. You know what I mean? I was always smaller, so it's like she could always get to me. But like by the time I got to middle school, it was over with. But up until that time, I had all these good memories that came, strictly from Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? And I think that's why I still hold a special place in my heart. We don't have it at my grandpa's house anymore. The one I got on my arm, he passed away actually I want to say a couple years ago now, because he passed away when I was like in sixth grade. So like it's been some years, you know what I mean? And like it's still kind of I still get that feeling when it comes to Thanksgiving. I think a lot of you guys can relate to that as well. Just being with the family, you know what I mean? Because as you get older, you don't spend as much time as you used to with your family, you know what I mean? So at least for me, it's like Thanksgiving is the one time out of the year, everybody's gonna come together because nothing brings people together like some grub. You know what I mean? And Thanksgiving is like a feast. It's like a buffet. You know what I mean? It's like you really gonna see people there. But what do you guys usually do for Thanksgiving? I'm curious. I know some of you. I always tell you guys to comment stuff down below. You guys don't comment. You guys usually just DM me on IG about something relating to the podcast. Just drop it in the comments right now. More interaction, more engagement. I'm rocking with y'all. There's one more thing I wanted to talk on about that. Oh yeah, about the sport. I do appreciate the support I'm getting from you guys. I talked about it last week on the podcast. I had about 10 people literally asking to be guests on the podcast, and since then I've had 3 more people. So this is really how I want to play. If I don't know what I'm gonna start having guests on. I'm gonna start having guests on soon. Just based off the reaction I'm getting from people. But I'll put it like this: if you aren't reposting my content anywhere on your social media, I'm not having you on as a guest on my podcast. I'll just put it simple like that. Like, because at the end of the day, like if you're really trying to come into the podcast and support what I got doing, support me by spreading the message and actually posting. You know what I mean? Like I get like everybody's not necessarily like big on social media, not always on the social media, but it's like if you message me on IG because of something I posted about the podcast on my IG, if you want to get on the podcast, all you gotta do is repost it. And I feel like even when I drop it, a lot of people are still gonna DM me and actually be a guest on the podcast. So all I'm gonna do is revert you back to episode 17 or episode 18, and then this episode as well. So if you didn't even hear me say how you got to be a guest on the podcast, which is you have to repost the actual podcast, you're not gonna know. So like I said, I just had to bring that up. Thank you for the support. Like I said, a lot of people were actually reaching out to be a guest on the podcast. But not only should you want to be a guest on the podcast, but share the word. You know what I mean? Just spread the love. I'm just a man, by myself doing this. So all the help I can get, greatly appreciated. But yeah, just repost the content if you want to be a guest, and I don't know. I'll just start from there because right now nobody's reposting my stuff. So as right now, I ain't having no guests, and I mean that. And that's one thing you guys are gonna learn about me as well. I don't just say stuff just to say stuff, And now that I got a podcast, it may seem like that, but anything that I actually say, for the most part, I do stand true to it, and that's just another thing. You know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to be, like trying to act like big headed about it. Like, oh, you got to repost my content. But at the end of the day, like, why would you want to come on my podcast and be a guest if you don't even listen to the podcast? You know what I mean? Like, this ain't just a chance for like, yeah, he got a podcast. I'm gonna go on there. We gonna show up, because I'm definitely gonna promote you. For the most part, all the people who are actually come on the podcast, they don't have really anything to necessarily promote directly. You know what I mean? A few clothing line, but I mean that'll we can definitely do something with that. But a lot of people aren't even have anything to necessarily promote, so it's just like you're just offering to be a guest on my podcast just so you can talk to me, which I don't have a problem with because I think you guys will start to see when I have guests on here how it flows like a little bit better. But at the same time, I'm not just gonna push all that to the side if you're not gonna, repost my podcast. I'm out here working hard. I'm doing this all by myself. And shout out to my guy Danny who helps me with the thumbnails y'all be seeing, trying to really up my game a little bit. But this is what we got going on. Like I know it's probably exciting for some people that see that it's somebody so close to them is doing something that maybe they want to do or something that could benefit them. And I want to do it. And I would love to be that person to help you benefit off it in any way possible. You know what I mean? But I'm just asking for a little bit. I'm not saying you repost every week, but the people who have been asking on my podcast, you know what I mean. Like I'm keeping an eye on who's reposting my stuff. And right now it's easy to do that because nobody's reposting it. But at the same time, to get a little bit, you gotta give a little bit. That's all I'm asking. But enough of that little tangent. We don't get to some other news. How many of y'all had that good burger meal? Hands up. Just what? And I ain't gonna lie. I must got the burger without the Edge secret sauce. Now, let me just give a rating before I go any farther. I give it a 7.5. Now I saw a lot of people online was talking about how it was trash and all this other stuff. Now one thing I did take a precaution with taking this burger is I ate the burger at home. I wasn't just gonna be out and about, grab a burger and then go about my day. I grabbed my burger, I went home just in case it didn't settle right in my stomach. One thing I will say, the actual meat was actually good. It was better than McDonald's burgers, whatever they be using their burgers. So I guess like it's like a wagyu steak that they was using for Arby's. But excuse me, this is the first time I went to Arby's in probably since I was in high school. Excuse me. And the only thing I used to get was I get some curly fries, or I get like a ham and cheese or like a Jamocha shake. You know what I mean? That's all I'm getting from Arby's. I'm not doing no roast beef. Like y'all slogan is we have the meats, but all y'all was selling was roast beef, bro. Roast beef gets no play around here at all. That's why I ain't been to Arby's. But with a great promotion for the Good Burger, I definitely was intrigued, and like I said, I love the concept of it. You know what I mean? Cause I grew up on Good Burger. Well, I'm getting a Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take it? Oh, that was my. But that's why I think I was intrigued to actually get the burger. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, I don't know. Get out there and try the burger, try for yourself. I mean, it's freaking $12, damn near 13. So just be mindful of that. I mean, they had a strawberry shake with it. The strawberry shake was good, and the burger was actually fulfilling for as expensive as it was. But yeah, go out there and try to that. Actually, I'm not gonna tell her to go out and try nothing because I'm not doing no free promo. Besides me talking about what I thought of the good burger. But other than that, do what y'all want with that. Mm. And now moving on from the good burger meal, we'll get into some other topics of mainstream. It's a lot going on. So we're just gonna touch on a good amount of this stuff. I don't know how crazy I want to go because, like I said, it's a Thanksgiving episode. I'm not gonna go too crazy there, but I want to make sure I got enough to make it until next week. One of these stories that popped out was very interesting to me. The Angel, that I don't know why I always say it wrong. I always want to say Angela, but the I spelled it wrong. Angel Reese not playing. Now it was 2 games ago. I got benched in the second half. You know what I mean? I don't think it was really a big deal. I think they were playing like Kent State or something like that. Shout out to Kent State. That's not far from where I'm at. But they definitely didn't need injuries for that game. And then there's the following game. She didn't even travel with the team. So all these murmurs are coming out of what's going on with Andrew Reese. Why is she playing? Yada yada yada. And allegedly, it was a little tiff going on with Angel Reese and I forgot, damn, Flo J, the J Johnson, whatever. The other girl from LSU who's like a rapper. It was her. It was her mom because I think her and Angel don't have any beef. So that's why I thought it was a little weird that her mom even said anything because like Angel and Flo J, they locked in like this, like so it was odd that her mom came after Angel, but pretty much Flajay's mom was pretty much like, yo, she had made a post like, yo, your daughter knows about grammatical errors, yada, yada, yada. She has a 2.0 grade point average or something like that, which a lot of people weren't privy to knowing exactly why she wasn't playing. And like her mom just kind of put it out there, which is strange. But I I don't really like to see stuff like this, honestly, because like they always talk about being a student athlete, it's grades and then your academics, but like Angel Reese, she's been like, I mean, a polarizing figure as far as like women's basketball. Her won the championship last year with LSU, and just like kind of like she got this little swag to her. You know what I mean? Like people was really feeling her. And my only question is wondering is if maybe she got too caught up in the name, the likenessness that she stopped taking care of what she needed to be taken care of. Because I mean she played through the entire first season and it was no problems with the grades. And now it seemed like it might be some issues with their grade point average. I mean, not saying that's a directly effect of what's been going on and how big she's been getting, but that's definitely something I like to keep in mind when it comes to situations like that because I mean she's a star. You know what I mean? It's like she's on commercials, she's doing all this stuff, so it's kind of hard to not let that get to your head. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just wish the basketball coach would come out and say what's actually going on because these are honestly all speculations. Because her grade point average can be fine, but this could have just been something that just came out. And the problem I have when it comes to stuff like this, when it comes to the sports world, and when it comes to these press conferences and the coach talking, um, they don't really give us anything. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's obvious that we didn't see her play in the second half. It's obviously we didn't see her play at all in the second game, and she didn't even travel with the team. But the coach would get in the press conference, and the media will ask her about the players, and she'll just be like, well, we'd like to have Angela back, as soon as we can. Whenever that is, we'd love to have her back. And like, I don't get why, like, when it comes to stuff like that, like, why don't the coaches just address like what's actually going on instead of just letting the rumors kind of get muddy, you know what I mean? Because like right now, all they're talking about is the GPA, but like who knows how far this is really gonna go and what they're gonna say like really is a problem. That's why I wish like as a viewer of sports, this happens a lot. You know what I mean? Just let's say Antonio Brown, he has a big blow up. Everybody sees it on social media. He's arguing with his baby mom, whatever the case may be. And then the coach for Buccaneers comes in the next day and asks about Antonio Brown. He's like, well, love AB. Whenever we have him back, it's great. Like, why don't you just actually address the situation that's going on? But whatever. I'm not a coach. I'm not in the media, so I don't really know why they handle certain things like that. But that is how they handle things. I hope the situation gets under control because it's got to be a little strenuous. I would think on Angela and Flajay's relationship as friends. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, like your mom is literally beefing with me. You know what I mean? So it could definitely get a little money, but hopefully that situation um gets handled and we get some more information about what's going on because I mean I like Angel Reese, you know what I mean? Like I like her game, like, and I'm not gonna say and act like I'm like a big advocate when it comes to women's basketball, but there are actually there's only like two players I'm really watching right now. Actually, just one, and that's Paige Becker at UConn. Just a bucket. But I'm not really paying attention to all the women's basketball. But like Andrew Reese definitely has game. You know what I mean? Like you don't go to LSU, you're not the reason that a team wins the championship, and you're just mediocre. You know what I mean? So hopefully she gets it figured out. If it is just a grade issue, you know what I mean? It's like the same way you use that likeness to get around all these celebs and all these high profile people. Use that same likeness to get a bomb tutor. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm like, bro, like she could probably just get somebody to do the work for her for real. You know what I mean? I just think she's not taking the right precautions, that she needs to take. But shout out to her. I the narrative kind of bothers me a little bit with the GPA because then she's a black athlete on top of that. So Angel, just do what you need to do to get back in the court. Just prove these haters wrong, whatever they think is going on, and yeah, just keep pushing forward. But we are going to get into some more things on the other end. But first, we're going to go to commercial. All right, we back in this thing. Back from commercial break. And we're going to get into some more of this mainstream stuff that we got going on because there's been a lot going on. But like I said, I'm going to keep this condensed. Hey, man, sorry, I just like to pray whenever I get the chance. Hope y'all was praying with me. But I talked about this a couple weeks ago. The hockey player that ended up getting slashed in the neck with the blade or whatever. The dude who actually did that actually was arrested for manslaughter. Now, let's take it easy because just because you get arrested for something doesn't mean you're charged. Being arrested and being charged are completely different. I've been arrested before, but never charged. It's not the same. You can get charged and you're gonna get arrested. They work two and two, but this is not necessarily indicative of the other thing. Whatever. Moving on. Matt Peatgrave. Interesting last name. But they picked him up when was this? It's been I think it was shortly after I stopped doing the podcast last week that he had got charged for. But I don't know. It's crazy because it does. If you guys watch the video, it does seem like a freak accident, but it also looks like it. It doesn't look intentional. Okay, I wish I'd give a good example. Oh, I can give a good example. When you watch Draymond Green play and you see him foul somebody, 100% intentional. You know what I mean? Like if he fouls somebody hard, it's not like, oh well, it just just a hard foul. It just happened. Couldn't do anything about it. No, Draymond actually be trying to do that shit like that. I don't think this is the same scenario. You know what I mean? Because just think about it. I don't know how often that happens in hockey, but it's the same dude who got he got cleated and like his skate just kind of goes in the air. But I don't know. It's a whole big story going on with that. I mean, obviously, I mean the dude got arrested, so I mean we'll just kind of wait to see how this unfolds. I don't want to talk about it every single week. But when more information comes out, I'll definitely talk about it because it's definitely interesting. Because a lot of people were saying that even when the video happened, that the dude who did it should have been, charged. And I thought that was kind of just internet detectives. You know what I mean? And to actually find that he actually got arrested for it, I mean, it might be some validity to what people were saying, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. But RIP to Adam Johnson, the hockey player who was actually cut by the skate. If anybody's seen the video, it's definitely pretty gruesome. But shout out to him, or shout out to him and shout out to his family, for sure. I mean, they like to leave it all on the ice, you know what I mean. But that definitely was a scenario like that at all, you know what I mean. At the end of the day, a lot of people like that play sports are willing to die for it, you know what I mean. But I think um that's definitely not in the same token at all. But rest in peace, to Adam Johnson. Shout out to his family as well. But for a man who can't say the same, we're gonna talk about Diddy a little bit. Diddy bopping. Diddy is not who we think it is. I'm always skeptical about those people who have this like real good image, preaching positivity, all this other stuff. Diddy is one of those people, and it's been some pretty heinous things coming out about him, and coming from one person specifically, Cassie. Y'all remember Cassie from back in the day? She had a little shade head. Cassie was fine too, but she had filed, she had sued Diddy for some type of, it's so weird when I say that, some type of abuse. I'll just say it like that. Grape abuse. Um Honestly, the story lasted, as soon as she made the claim, it was like, I don't know, probably like 2 days later, 2, 3 days later, that Diddy ended up settling. So like when I originally wrote this topic down that I wanted to talk about on the podcast, Diddy ended up settling. Now I'm gonna let you guys do your research about what's going on with the whole situation with Diddy and Cassie, but it was a lot that was being said about Diddy, and the fact that he settled so fast, it's a little. I think personally, it's a little bit telling. You know what I mean? It's hush money. When somebody is claiming things about you, and instead of you going to court to fight it, and a lot of people say like you can spend more money going to fight something, but like when there's somebody accusing something such as heinous as Diddy was being accused of, you would think that he would be like, no, like he would spend that money and fight it, and not spend the money just to gift her. You know what I mean? And not to say that just because he gave her the money that everything is okay, because I don't think it is okay, but I think that is definitely a power move when it comes to people who have money. They just pay people off, and everything is good. But I've been looking at them celebrities like a little sideways, you know what I mean? Because like you have enough money to fight it, but you'd rather just pay it. Sometimes it seems like some type of admission of guilt, if you would. You know what I mean? It's definitely a little bit odd, but kind of find out Diddy was doing some wild stuff back in the day. Like when this came out, a lot of these stories came about like what Diddy was actually doing in these little situations. Like Diddy is the same person that slapped J. Cole. He got into it with Drake as the reason that Drake got his shoulder dislocated. And then something new that just came out of the news. He the reason that, okay, allegedly, it was in the paperwork, it said, but allegedly he blew up Kid Cudi's car. Now, I know y'all been seeing, probably didn't, but for the past 2 years, did he dress up like the Joker? And then you find out that Kid Cudi blew up, or that he blew up Kid Cudi's car. It's like, nah, he really thought like he was a Joker. Like I've never heard no stuff like that, and it was based off a situation with, I believe it was Cassie, something, some beef ensued with him and Kid Cudi. Next thing I know, this car is blowing up. Not saying it was Diddy. It could have been anybody that Kid Cudi was beefing with. But it just turns out that it just happened to be Diddy. And some would say that Diddy is known for putting hands on people or retaliating when it comes to, you know, dissing his women in any way, shape, or form, or him for that matter. So I'm gonna take that with a little bit of grain of salt. But allegedly, you slapped J. Cole. Now I'm not even a fan of J. Cole, but why you slap Jermaine? Light skin, cool dude, college. Why you? We know why. Do your research, but it's over that. And then why he got into it with Drake was over that 0 to 100 beat. I mean, Diddy. I'm so glad Drake got that beat instead of Diddy. Could you imagine what Diddy would have done on that 0 to 100 beat? He just went on that Diddy body. It's all day. Don't nobody want to hear that. Oh shit, no more Diddy. Money better take your ass somewhere. But yeah, Diddy been on the troll, and I feel like this is might be. I don't know. A lot of us are getting to the age now. I always say like a lot of us because I'm assuming that a lot of you guys are the same age that I am. But as we get older, we're starting to see like people that we looked up to aren't. I didn't want to say looked up to, but we had a good perspective about them. Now we're getting old to the point to see that a lot of that stuff is not necessarily true. You know what I mean? And it's sad to say, because if you really idolize some of these people that you thought were, genuinely good people, in 2023 you might have your heart broken. You know what I mean? Because people aren't necessarily who they say they are, and a lot of times you won't find that out until like years to come by. Like Cassie has found this stuff from years ago. You know what I mean? And I hope she gets justice, and I hope that I don't know, but I think that's a good reason why we shouldn't be like idolizing these celebrities. I saw a post the other day, and it was like it was saying that people who are very infatuated with celebrities' life have a low IQ. I believe it because there's no way you should care that much about like celebrities and stuff like that. Now, I think that there is celebrities that you can take from. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I think the problem is when you are like idolizing people like as bigger than life images. You know what I mean? And I think that's when you really start to get let down because you just got to lower your expectations. Because at the end of the day, like they're humans. Now they are as far as like financially they are on a whole different level, but at the end of the day like these people are just humans, you know what I mean? So I don't know, just set your expectation low for you people because you might get your heart broken by thinking these people are you know as nice as they pretend to be, but just a lesson to take from people. Let's not idolize celebrities too much. They are humans, but we just see them more than anybody else. You know what I mean? So it seems like they got it figured out, but like I don't want to quote Diddy, but or Biggie, but more money, more problems. I feel like that's real. And I feel like a lot of people. I think the main message in that statement, more money, more problems, is like money doesn't necessarily fix anything or doesn't fix everything because at the end of the day you're still a human. You still have feelings, you still have emotions, you still have things that you have to deal with that money necessarily is not going to make you forget about. Now, I'm not one of those people that believe that money can't buy happiness. I think money can buy you happiness for sure. I don't think it's forever happiness. I think it's for the most part it's temporary, but at the end of the day like it's still some form of happiness, but do what you want with that information. I don't know. That's just me though. Like when it comes to like these celebrities and stuff like that. Um, I'm trying to look at the people that I can actually like have like conversations and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like it's people like just really think about it. I'm bringing back to like how people idolize celebrities. There's people that will wish celebrities happy birthday under their post. Why are you wishing them? You don't even know them. You know what I mean? It's like maybe based off their music and stuff like that, but you're wishing somebody a happy birthday you've never met before. Just let that sink in. Just really let that sink in. Like you probably wouldn't even do nothing for your homie's birthday. Take a little shot there, but you don't wish a celebrity a happy birthday. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say sometimes. It's a crazy world we live in. That clout is, man, clout values more than currency at this point. You know what I mean? And I think that's what a lot of that comes down to. It could be somebody that's not necessarily a good person, but they famous and they got money, so people gonna look up to them. Teach his own. But I thought it was gonna go a little bit longer than what I was gonna go, but We're gonna do some segment of things that I briefly cared about, and then we're gonna do some questions, and then we gonna get out of here. But excuse me, I know. Y'all know I gotta get that off. There's something about this Super Mario fluid. Pause, y'all drink some fluid. It's like, yeah, but it's not like that. But I can't really say what it is because, like I said, I'm not doing no free promo for anybody. But it's just a little pick me up, just give me to the podcast. You know, usually I have my little H2O, my little water. But I usually come here and shoot for about an hour and a half, so this usually gets me through it. My bad. Let's get back on tap. Y'all realize like it's me by myself a lot of times. So like I know sometimes you guys want like maybe a little bit better flow, but you got to realize when there's two people, like they say something that I make think something, I'm going off this. I'm strictly just going off anything that comes to my mind and my notes that I got right here on my real computer. A lot of y'all be thinking like you always got that computer, but you ain't never looking nothing up. We looking stuff up now. But like I said, it's just me. So if I feel like sometimes I just want to have a conversation with you guys, I just want to take a little breather, take a little drink of my. Y'all got to let me do that. Y'all gotta let me do it. It's just me in here, and sometimes I get tired just like y'all, but I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Let's get into it before I go on another 10, talking about some random stuff. Segment, things I care briefly about. Snoop Dogg announced he was quitting smoking. Now, this is a perfect segment to exactly what I was just talking about. One, anybody who really thought Snoop Dogg was really quitting smoking is out of your mind. I don't know. Hell must have frozen. If Snoop Dogg stopped smoking, hell must have frozen over. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I mean? But it was funny because Snoop Dogg announced that he quit smoking, and there was a whole bunch of celebrities like, "Man, we not smoking either. We not smoking either." And my first thought was like, "Damn, y'all really a bunch of followers." Just because Snoop Dogg say he not smoking, not everybody talking about like they're not about to smoke. But it's funny. We were talking about that at the barbershop, and the one dude who was one of the barbers next to my barber, he was like, they had brought that up, and he was like, man, shit, Snoop quit smoking. I'm thinking there's something wrong with the weed. I was about to quit smoking too. I was in the middle of smoking a blunt. I said, this is my last one. I didn't even think about it like that, but that's funny. If people were thinking it like that, it's like I didn't see. That's the side I wasn't thinking of. I was just thinking like everybody got like this following mindset. It's like, oh, Snoop Dogg say he gonna quit, I'm gonna quit smoking too. It's like, man, be your own person and make up your own mind. Why? Like you should, if you was gonna quit smoking, you should have. You don't gotta wait for Snoop Dogg to be like he quit smoking for you to quit smoking. Decide your own mind and do it on your own. That was my first thought, but it was fun to see the perspective about how other people, took it as well. Like I said, dude was literally smoking a month. So like, man, Snoop Dogg said he done smoke. This is my last blunt. Like, it was crazy, but turns out rug and pull on all y'all. Snoop ain't quitting smoking, which is the side I was leaning on. Like, man, Snoop is not about to quit smoking. A lot of people were saying like he was promoting, and sure enough, he was promoting. It was like a smokeless stove or some smokeless fireplace, something like that. But look, he got all y'all. Not everybody was talking about they quit smoking. Oh yeah, smoking on IG today. You know what I mean? So great. That was a great play though, for sure, for Snoop Dogg, because he got a lot of people talking. You know what I mean? I don't think a lot of people can garner that much attention like Snoop Dogg will for saying that he's quitting smoking. But smart man. A lot of people are saying it's to promo, and that's exactly what he did. So shout out to the big Snoop Double O Jizzle in this thing. Another segment, Joe Smith and his wife's dilemma. Now, this has been going on for a while now, and it's been about 2 weeks. And I don't think I talked about it. If I did, I talked about it just a little bit. But they finally had like a little sit down interview or whatever the case may be to talk about what's been going on. And at this point, I'm so over this. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, like, I feel for him, and I feel for him. I don't feel for her. I don't know what she got going on. But turned out she was, a corn star before that started, mess around with each other, yada, yada, yada. Times was hard during COVID. She started the little, the OF. And because apparently financially they're in a tight situation, his whole video that blown up where he had just found out she was doing it and yada, yada, yada. My thing is, I feel like she has the right to do whatever she wants, but he was a very private person. He doesn't really post on his social media. He's not really letting the world into his life. So I thought that was mad corny for her to do that because she definitely knew that about him. That's why she recorded. It's a husband and a wife having a conversation. Well, it was an argument, but whatever the case may be, the the privacy between your husband and a wife should be just that. It should be private and for your eyes only. You know what I mean? So I thought it was corny the fact that she recorded the conversation of him getting mad and yada yada yada. Because I mean, as a man, it's like he knew about what you're doing before. All right, he was cool with that. But it's like now you kind of being sneaky. You can't just be like, oh well, I was doing this before. I feel like that should still be a conversation that you have with your husband. You know what I mean? Because he even talked about it. If she would have had a conversation with him, he would have been okay with it. You know what I mean? But it's the fact that how he found out now he's like embarrassed. Like this is a private person. Now he's found out online that because he didn't even know that the video I went out that she had posted the video of them arguing. So just imagine you and your girl is arguing, right? You have an argument. She recording the argument is over. You think, all right, y'all make up. It's all cool. Maybe not necessarily make up, but like you get to a common ground where it's not just so much 100% beef. Y'all may still have the conversation about it, but it's not as prolific as it was before. The problem with that is though, when you have that conversation and you think it's just a conversation between you two, and then you just scrolling on your timeline, and then you see that your wife had posted a video, like that's mad corny. You know what I mean? That's all I can really say about this conversation, honestly, because I mean, like I said, I feel like the privacy between the husband and the wife is everything, and she completely disrespected that. So that's why I say I feel for him and not necessarily for her, because I feel like once you embarrass a man, it's like it's gonna be hard to get that love back. You know what I mean? Like they tried to do the little sit down interview, and he ended up walking away again from the conversation. So it's like he definitely about to check out. You know what I mean? Like he said, I feel like all his attention that is garnishing is he didn't want that anyway. So it's definitely I feel like gonna cause some type of divide in the relationship or whatever was left of the relationship. But shout out to Joe Smith. I mean, I feel for you as far as like I feel bad that you got to go through that. Like you getting exposed online, like you have your wife recording you secretly and then post it. Not saying the whole having an OF girl and finding out she's doing it. Like that's crazy. It's not. I mean, it's crazy to find out like that. The world we live in, like it's like normal girls that have OF now. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't think that's necessarily a problem. But shout out to Joe Smith. You're an ex NBA player. Even though your pockets ain't like they used to be, you can find a girl that's not going to be on no weird stuff. And I say weird for the fact that he's in his late 40s. He's not trying, and his wife in her 40s too. Is like, why is you trying to? What? I'm just move on. But next thing I wanted to talk about, second thing that I cared briefly about, Benzino asking Coileray for money. Now, some of y'all don't know Benzino was a very low tier rapper back in the day. He had his beef with Eminem, yada yada yada. I don't really know Benzino for his music. I just know him from being on like Black TV a couple times. You know what I mean? And the fact that he's Coil Ray's daughter, and Coil Ray is anyway, just gonna keep it professional. I thought it was weird. I always would think it's weird when a parent is asking their child for money. Not the fact that the parent's asking child for money, but like the parent feeling like, oh, like I gave you life, like you owe this to me. You know what I mean? But keep in mind, Benzema was also the same person when Coyle Ray was originally making music. Like when she first started to be a hit and stuff like that, he would trash her music. You know what I mean? So like now this is what she does for a living. Paid appearances, walkthroughs, whatever the case may be. Now she gets into the bag, and now you asking her for money. Like I feel like that's mad corny. It's like how like this your daughter. You should have uplifted her in any way possible, even if you didn't necessarily agree with it. Like you should have uplifted her. Because as far as I'm concerned, Coileray got more bangers than Benzema. What is we talking about right now? So it's like the fact that you wasn't like instrumental in actually, helping her and actually providing and actually being some type of help when it comes to like the music industry, and you're just kind of just shitting on her, and the fact that you're asking for money and you feel like she's ungrateful because she's not giving you money, it's like I feel Coileray. Why should she have to give you any money? Like if you talk bad about somebody and then in exchange for that same thing that you talk bad about, you want them to give you money based off of how they're getting money about how you think about how they do their job bad. we gotta make it make sense. Not don't make no sense at all. Like Benzema, you gotta cut it out. You better start that beef with Eminem or something like that. Because as far as the whole Coil Ray thing, you can't pick and choose when you want to be a good dad. You know what I mean? So that's all I'm gonna say about the situation. But second thing that I care briefly about, another one, Draymond putting Rudy Gobert in the headline. Draymond is a menace, you know what I mean? It's been a tough week to be dark skinned this week. I'll just put it like that. We got this overly aggressive energy that we say that we portray. Diddy, anyways, Draymond, like I said, it's been rough for us, but we're trying. But Draymond is a menace. Draymond got suspended 5 games for choking Rudy Gobert. This game is a couple days old now by the time I am recording this, but it's not the fact that he got the 5 game suspension wasn't necessarily based off the action. It's just based on the fact that it was Draymond. You know, Draymond has history. I talked about it earlier about Draymond, dirty player. I'm just gonna put it like that. It's different between playing hard and playing dirty. If you just go on YouTube, you can type in Draymond Green, most flagrant moments or something like that. And it's just gonna be like 20 minutes of Draymond Green just fouling the hell out of people. So I think that's why he got suspended for the 5 games. And if you look at the whole altercation that happened, I don't know if you guys knew what was going on, but it really started with Klay Thompson. The one player was trying to go for the rebound. Klay Thompson put his hand on the shirt, kind of like mugs him a little bit. McDaniel's like, hold on, you ain't about to mug me, mug. Turned out they get to swing with the jerseys a little bit, and Rudy Gobert goes in to break it up. Draymond comes out of nowhere and just puts Rudy Gobert in the headlock for no reason at all. Like Rudy Gobert is trying to be peacemaker in that situation. Still, like Draymond just came and gave him the business. I don't know. Draymond gotta get it figured out. But Rudy Gobert is funny. He said anytime Seth isn't playing, Draymond doesn't want to play either, and that's actually hilarious because if you look back at a lot of the games, that's definitely true. But shake it off, Draymond. I mean, I don't got no beef for you. I just call it like it is, and like I don't know, you kind of soft for that. You kind of like a bully. Like he light skinned, so you just felt like you can just like pick on him. Like what? You still choking him for starting COVID like in the NBA, like way back when. Like you got to get over that, my boy. But moving on before we get out of here, I like to get out of here with like a little bit of questions. And the first one is, can you use a gift card on a first date? Ah, doesn't matter. Like, I don't think it's a big deal, honestly. That's just me personally. I've been in some like, I also had like some very like interesting first dates. Like first dates where it's like the girl has paid for my meal. You know what I mean? It wasn't a first date, but I had dates where it's like, is this girl I mess with? It's her birthday and she paying because my little messed up. You know what I mean? This a while ago, but I'm keeping gangster with y'all. Like, I don't think it really matters. You know what I mean? Because like if a girl really gonna mess with you, like she gonna mess with you. You know. Like, I was just having this conversation with this girl and like how do I want to say this? Y'all, we talk about that a little bit on the podcast about that list going around about like place like not to take like a girl to a first date. Like, bro, just get out and really talk to the woman because a lot of women don't even be thinking about that. You know what I mean? And if you see like women entertaining like certain conversation about like, oh well, my man can't do this and my man can't do this, most likely that they don't have a man, so like they feel comfortable doing stuff like that. So then the note on can you use a gift card on the first set? I think you can. I think it really doesn't matter. I think it also depends on the type of woman that you're dealing with. But I feel like if you're paying for it, why does it matter if you're using a gift card or not? I wish a girl would try to clown me for using a gift card on the first set. It's like, okay, then pull out some of your real money and you can pay for it. Oh, well, the man's supposed to. All right, the man's supposed to pay for it. All right, cool. Gift card on the table. Like, what are you talking about? Ah, last one before we get out of here. Would you rather know every time someone talks shit about you over text or every time somebody talks shit about you out loud? I'll probably just have, every time somebody talks shit about me out loud, you know what I mean? Because at least with that, I'm close enough to like, you know, keep that same energy. We don't promote no violence. I'm peaceful, keep the peace. That's what we on. We on all peace, all 2023. But at the same time, I don't want to get it over text. You know what I mean? Because you can be far away, but you really don't have to address it. But someone says it out loud, we can address it right there. I don't know. I don't really be having that problem. You know what I mean? Not saying like I'm like the toughest dude in the world, but it's just like I don't know. I just be minding my business, you know what I mean? And I be staying out the way anyway. So like someone could be talking about me, but it's like if you don't put a name to it, like I don't care. But as soon as you put a name to it, like we're really addressable. Like most people aren't that bold. It's like ready to call you out by name, like in the close enough proximity where you can do something about it. But man, that has been another episode of the We Here Now podcast. Now, if you are just tuning in, I appreciate. If you're tuning in for the first time, I appreciate you. I hope I see you guys next week. We'll be dropping on Tuesday, not on Wednesday next week. And if you're a returning guest, I appreciate y'all, and I hope you guys enjoy this episode of the We Here Now podcast. That's been another episode. I will see you guys next week. Yeah, sure.